A very good morning to the children, especially children of class 11 arts. Hope that you all will be viewing the video clips which has been actually provided to you in the form of e-class or e-learning. So welcome you all. The other day I have taught you one chapter that is Indian from the book, the first book, that is Indian Constitution at Work. As I've already informed you before that your political science syllabus comprises of two books. One is Indian Constitution at Work, another one is Political Theory. Clear? These are two books. And I have already completed one chapter from the other book, that is the Constitution of India. And the beauty is that, you know, in that particular book is you are going to come to have a closer view about what the Indian Constitution is actually. What are the things which are included? You will come to know more and more about the Constitution of India. So with the first chapter we have already done with what is the Constitution, how was it formed, by whom was it formed, when was it completed, what were the series of activities which were taken by the members of the Constituent Assembly, or what are the hardships which they had faced to form the Constitution of India. And we have also seen the objective resolution. We have also talked about the importance or the need to have a constitution in a country. Now comes the second book, which is actually, the name of the book is Political Theory, and in that the chapter 1 is your Political Theory and Introduction. From here only you can, the name of the book only, it will suggest that it is more of a theoretical based book. So in this respect, first of all, we'll come to know about political theory and introduction. So before starting anything about this particular book, first of all, I will discuss on this particular fact that politics, this is the word which is actually linked with political science or political theory, everything. So my question will be, what is politics? You know, this is the greatest question so far asked by everyone, that what is politics? Quite often, you know what happens when you go and say in front of somebody, you want to say something on politics, they frown their faces that don't tell me about politics, something very dirty, something I don't want to be a part of it. But unfortunately, this is a very, very wrong concept people hold. Politics is not always what the politicians do. Politics is what then? Politics, you know, it is actually related by all the important political institutions which exist within the country, political institutions. And among them, the two most important political institutions are the state and government. So from here only you can understand, people, those who say that I am not a part of politics, don't speak in front of me about politics. I have an aversion for that particular word. You can say that you cannot be independent or away or beyond of politics, because we all are part of the two biggest political institutions. One is the state and another one is the government. State means the whole area, the territory where you are living as citizens, and government is the machinery of the state to run the administration of the country. So no one, whether he is a scientist, whether he is a doctor, whether he is an engineer, nobody can be independent of these two particular institutions. So we are always a part of the state and always being governed by one of the machineries or bodies or institutions of the state, that is the government. Nobody can be independent of it. Now, before giving you the meaning of what is actually politics, let me tell you about the word, origin of the word politics. From where did it come? The word derives its origin from a particular word which is known as polis. Polis were the small Greek city-states. The Greek city-states. That means if this is Greece, during that time, you know, Greece was divided into a number of small states which were actually they were more or less the size of a city. And before that, talking about polis, this particular term was coined by one of the greatest political philosophers ever in the history of political science. His name was Aristotle. The word politics, or the main word from polis to politics, this particular word was coined by Aristotle. And it is for this reason, Aristotle is famed to be known as the father of political science or the father of political philosophy. The credit goes to him. So, what did Aristotle mean by polis? He said that polis are actually the Greek city-states. So, what did Aristotle do? He had observed the functioning, the political functioning, the processes of each each polis or the Greek city-states. And finally, he came up with his views on politics, and for the first time in his book, which was known as Politics. So, the word politics owes its origin from a Greek word polis, which means small city-states in Greece. And after observing the pattern of administration, how these city-states were actually administered or governed, his ideas, his views were actually given by Aristotle in a book which was known as Politics. So, here you come to see the word, how politics had come into this particular world. Before Aristotle, his teacher, his name was Plato. He has also given his ideas about the state, but not in a systematic manner, of politics, but not in a systematic manner, or the way Aristotle has named it to be politics in one of his celebrated books, and the name of that book is The Republic. So, the names which I am giving you, these are all parts of the 1 marks or the short answer or the objective type questions which you are going to have. So, this is the background history from where the word politics has been derived. Now, finally coming to the question that what do you mean by politics? So, politics, obviously it includes the science or the study of the state and government. Nobody can deny that. It obviously includes the study or the science of the state and government. As I have told you, nobody can exist outside the state or outside the government. Together with that, it includes all political activities and political relations with the use of power to a considerable extent. Now, I will give you the meaning. First of all, science or the study of the state and government, politics. State and government, as I have told you, most important political institutions of a state anywhere in the world. It includes all political activities. Political activities of whom? Political activities obviously of the government as well as the people. Government means how the government is running the administration, and political activities means what are the political activities of a people. That means being a citizen of a country, your voting behavior, your activities of keeping a watch upon the activities of the government. This includes the political activities. Political relations between whom? Between the people and the government or the other political institutions. Apart from the state and government, there are other political institutions like political parties, pressure groups, interest groups. There are other various political institutions. So, what should be the relationship between an individual and the political institutions with the use of power? This power is actually the political power we are talking about. Political power. When do we use this political power? During elections. People use the political power to go and give vote, and the party which gets the absolute power, absolute votes forms the government. That means it gains the political power, but to a considerable extent. Why considerable extent? That means considerable extent means to a particular level. That means power is given but within certain restrictions or limitations. Why? Because if you give someone limitless power, you know what will happen? That person will try to misuse or abuse power. So whenever the government is using the power, the political party which has formed the government is using a power, but that power is kept within certain limitations, and these limitations are provided by the constitution. Clear? So including the use of power but to a considerable extent. This is actually the definition of politics. This is a complete definition of politics, both taking the earlier views as well as the modern views of the country. Now the question comes that we have seen what is politics, why then from where it has come, who was the one who has used the word politics. Next the question comes, another question comes before you, that we have seen what is politics. Now the question, what do we study in political theory? Why or what? Not why, actually what. What should we study in political theory? The first thing, first of all, the people of the country should know, because we know that in a democracy, the government is formed by the people. So being a part who has formed the government, the people should know the rules and regulations which the government of the country should follow while running the government of the country. They should know that what should be the rules and regulations, or what are the rules and regulations, or what are the way the government of the country should perform. That means they should know that these should be the powers of the government. These should be the functions of the government. This should be very clear in the minds of the people, that whether the government is working up to the expectations or whether they are fulfilling all the things which are actually given to them, whether they are within limits, we have to know them. Secondly, to keep a watch upon the Yes, first of all, you have to know the rules and regulations. Then secondly, you have to know, that means after forming the government, your work is over. No, my dear. After forming the government, now my responsibility increases. How it increases? That we have to know that how is the government functioning. You have to keep a watch upon the activities of the government. And this keeping a watch upon the government, you cannot do it sincerely until and unless you know that what should be the powers and functions of the government of the country. What should be the limits within which the government should function. So in order to know them, you have to know what is a political theory. So this is the second one. Third one, concepts like, we talk about concepts like liberty, equality, justice, secularism, communalism, and so on. We use these words that, oh, freedom, I am free, this is my liberty, this is my, I belong to a secular country. Clear, we use these concepts, we use these words, but do we actually know the meaning of them? So in order to have a close idea about the meaning of these particular words, terms, concepts, we have to know what we have to know about political theory. Political theory gives you the idea about all these kinds of things. And another one which is very, very important is that this is another very important one, which is the rights and responsibilities. Responsibilities means duties of the citizens of the country. So when you study political theory, you come to know that what are the rights which are given to you. Rights means freedoms, and what are the duties which you should follow being a citizen of a country. So all these things, that means being a part of the country, being a part of the government, all these particular things you will know in political theory. Clear? Political theory gives you an idea about all these things being essential parts of the political institution, that is the state and the government. Now this chapter, this is mostly based on questions. So if you study them in the form of questions also, this chapter you will get it. You will get this chapter if you study them in the form of questions. Another question which is in front of you, which is see. This chapter is mainly based on questions, and the answer to these questions will be given by the chapter itself. So if you go by them, I think the chapter will appear to you to be very, very easy. So the next question is, why should we study political theory? First of all, we have seen what do we study in political theory, what is politics, okay, from where did it come, who used the word. Clear? Then what do we study? And now the last question, why should we study politics or political theory? Now, first one, students becoming future citizens. So children, you are in class 11, hardly 15 or 16 years of age. So after 2 years or 2.5 years, you are going to become the legal citizens of the country. That means you are going to use your voting rights. You are natural citizens because you are born in this country. So automatically you are a natural citizen of a country. But you will become a legal citizen. That means the time when you will be given the right to vote. So as students becomes or are the future citizens of the country, you must know about what is vote, what is the way you should vote, whom should you vote, how should you use this voting right, how to use them, whether you are using it in a sincere manner. So all these things. Then you should know that whom I should vote, what is best for my country. You should know them. And if you want to know them, you have to study political theory. Second one, again, as being citizens, you will be coming to know about your freedoms. That means your rights. Freedoms means rights. This is very true, my dear. Until and unless you know about your rights, you can never ask about your rights. You can never ask. You will never know that this is my right. If anybody has taken away that right, violated that right. You will not have that idea that that particular your right has been violated. You will not have that idea because you don't know that this was my right. So in order to know that whether your right is being taken away by anyone, whether it has been violated, you have to know your rights, that is your freedoms. And thirdly, you know, the world is not static in nature, it is dynamic. Dynamic means ever in the process of development, ever in the process of growth. Take for example India. The Indian Constitution was adopted by the year 1950. It was started to be made by 1946. So the scenario of that time, the demands of the people of that time, the problems of the people of that time, and compared to what we have now, do they tally? Are they the same? Naturally not. So there have been changes because we live in today's era, you know, it's a very complicated system. It's a the society is becoming complex day by day because the demands of the people are ever increasing, ever changing. They are limitless. So what happens, you know, new interpretations means new meanings are given to your freedoms every day. So in order to know about them, you have to know something about political theory. Every day, you know, new meaning is given to certain of your freedoms, certain of your rights. So what happens if you follow the old one? What happened? You will never know that there have taken place so many changes. So in order to be aware of the changes which are taking place, the different meanings being added, you have to be well versed. You have to be with time. So in order to be with time or on time, you have to study political theory. So as to conclude with this chapter, I will tell you that this chapter is a very simple chapter. If you, it's a chapter, you know, I'll say it's based on certain questions. So there are questions, you are going to question yourselves and you answer them, then you see the chapter has come to an end. So hope you will follow them and you will go through the book if you have with them. With this, goodbye to all of you.